The tiger is the largest cat in the world, but its size does not prevent it from skillfully approaching a whole group of wild boars. The animals are unaware of the presence of the striped predator, which is almost within striking distance. Then the tiger launches the attack, and the wild boars panic and scatter. It seems they have managed to break the distance and move away from the enemy, but the tiger speeds up and intercepts an especially large boar. The boar's tusks are dangerous even for such a strong predator, but the pig doesn't have time to use its weapon. The tiger overwhelms the enemy with a crushing attack. He effectively immobilizes it and finishes it off, avoiding any harm and securing food for the next 2 days. You will see other great cases where the pantherines demonstrate what they are capable of doing. A young lion pounced on an entire pack of hyenas to snatch their food. Although the cat was bigger than each individual, it was very risky to attack an entire clan alone. But the lion knew how to take advantage of the surprise effect and scare away the enemies. However, a hyena was so absorbed in its food that it didn't notice the presence of the lion. Well, it was to be expected. The enraged cat grabbed it brutally and threw it away from the prey as if it were a rag, showing who's in charge. A hunting group of more than half a dozen hyenas, united in a pack, roamed the savannah in search of prey. Together, they could pose a threat to a huge buffalo or even a rhinoceros. But the hyenas made a mistake when they entered the territory of the lion pride. The majestic male who reigns here decided not to waste time and attack his enemies alone. He relied on the element of surprise and stunning pressure. Weighing just under 1/4 of a ton, the enormous lion is still quite an elegant and fast predator. The cat rushed into battle, skillfully chose a target, and lunged forward. The lion's attack was so fast that even the camera didn't have time to capture the moment of its charge. But we see the result. The lion disarmed the hyena with a crushing blow, shocking the other members of the enemy pack and causing them to scatter in different directions. Quickly, they recovered from the initial shock and tried to use their favorite encirclement tactics against the big cat. The hyenas attack from different flanks, constantly pressuring the enemy and, above all, jumping on its back, also attacking its hind legs, tail, and groin. A less experienced lion could be defeated by this tactic because it would have to sit down to defend these body parts, thus losing mobility and initiative. But this enormous lion is not only strong, but also very experienced. He is seasoned in 1,000 battles, so he understands the importance of constant movement and control, even at the risk. The lion struck a particularly large hyena right in front of the pack, knocked it down, and sank its fangs into its flesh. The other hyenas were surprised to lose their leader. His actions were no longer coordinated, so the pack began to act less coherently and assertively. They attacked from all sides, really trying to surround the enemy. However, the lion reacted successfully and effectively to each attack. He stopped them from the start with powerful counterattacks, scattered the pack of hyenas as if they were cubs, and dictated the conditions of the battle to them. That said, he released the hyena he had grabbed so as not to waste time with it. This only scared the others more than the prospect of getting too close to the claws and fangs of the huge cat. A pack of hyenas had escaped from the territory of the pride, the leader of which even managed to defend his family's domain alone. His bravery deserves your like, doesn't it? The puma leaps from the ambush and reaches a rather large deer in a few long jumps. The puma attacks from behind, which is quite difficult given the larger size of the herbivore. However, the big cat charges into the battle without hesitation. The puma is one of the most effective predators of the New World. It not only competes with bears but also hunts some of them. And the deer are not a threat to this clawed hunter. The predator's target is the herbivore's throat. But the puma does not reach it immediately. First, it clings to the deer's side, forcing it to stop. The deer tries to break free and even wants to use its antlers, but it underestimates the feline. The puma literally climbs up the body of the large opponent, thus avoiding the impact of its antlers, and grabs the deer's throat from the opposite side. This is how the great predator covers the deer's neck and back with its body. It tries to free itself from this burden, but ultimately loses initiative and speed, barely managing to stay on its feet. Like other felines, the puma cannot fight for long, but during a short battle, it is capable of giving maximum effort and fighting as actively as possible. Combining well-honed tactics and cunning techniques, this makes the predator truly dangerous. The puma goes to the ground, but that suits it, because the predator maintains its grip, presses the deer with its weight, and in doing so, twists the herbivore's head at an unnatural angle. The puma finally immobilizes the victim and begins to strangle the enemy. Another deer watches this scene in shock, but does not dare to intervene. The deer in the predator's jaws tries to break free, but uses most of its strength just to stay standing. An attempt to strike the puma with a hoof would inevitably cause the deer to fall, and from this position, it would be even more difficult to hit it with its antlers. Meanwhile, the oxygen runs out, and the deer quickly loses strength with each passing second. Most felines strangle large prey instead of trying to bite their throat. It seems that this is why the struggle loses momentum and drags on, which does not favor even the most seasoned hunter. But while the feline strangles the victim, it resists as if burning the last reserve of strength. Without access to oxygen, the deer becomes almost dazed in a matter of seconds. The puma skillfully executed the tactic of quickly pouncing and strangling, and finally killed a deer twice its size. The predator then finished off the victim and stocked up on food for the following days. A puma appeared on the jaguar's territory and attacked the spotted cat to take over its territory. Evidently, it was a mistake, as the puma does not know who it is facing. The brief chase culminates in a surprisingly intense fight. The two cats face off and become a ball of claws, fangs, fury, and growls. Lightning-fast paw strikes, constant bites, grabs, throws. It seems that the puma and the jaguar are showing off their entire arsenal. The puma is a fairly large wild feline that defends itself from wolves and bears, but it is not closely related to lions, tigers, jaguars, and leopards. The New World hosted its own species of lions hundreds of thousands and millions of years ago, as well as saber-toothed tigers. But when they became extinct, they left an ecological niche vacant. Being effective and successful predators, pumas took advantage of the opportunity, spread over a wide area of 2 continents, and became large and very strong. But the jaguar should not be underestimated. It is the 3rd largest big cat in the world, only behind tigers and lions. The jaguar's habitat has been reduced due to human activity, but in recent decades, pumas have increasingly ventured into the habitat of these spotted cats. The rivalry between these species is a fascinating spectacle. The male puma is longer and taller than the female jaguar, but with the exterior superiority, the aggressor suddenly realizes that it is inferior to the spotted cat in strength. In reality, the jaguar is not as enormous as a lion or a tiger, but it is the 3rd largest panther in the world. This predator appears more compact than a puma, but it's worth noting its muscular legs and body, which show strong musculature even through the spotted fur. Although the young female jaguar is smaller than the adult male puma, it's not worth messing with her. The superiority in raw physical strength remains on the side of the spotted predator. The jaguar is more muscular, more athletic. A fight between the two is like a fight between a motorcyclist and a professional MMA fighter. The fight between these distant relatives is impressive. Felids usually rely mainly on powerful blows with their paws, using their fangs as weapons for the final phase of the fight. The puma tries to pounce on the jaguar, crush it, and stun it with a flurry of blows, but its incredible reaction speed allows the spotted cat to dodge the most dangerous attacks and respond more coolly. Suddenly, the puma realizes that the jaguar's retaliatory blows are much more powerful, hit the target more often, and suddenly the more compact cat gains a clear advantage. The male puma is stunned by such fierce rejection. He retreats. The jaguar is a cautious creature, and this female also has cubs to care for, so she is willing to let the puma go and does not pursue the retreating enemy. However, the puma has mistaken caution for weakness, so he decides to seize the moment and attacks his opponent again. Well, if it hasn't learned the first lesson, the jaguar will teach its opponent another more painful one. Although initiative and aggressiveness are important in a fight, this female jaguar is simply too strong a fighter. Defeats the puma once more and finally expels the insolent intruder from her territory. The aggressor had to retreat and lick his wounds elsewhere. The jaguar is a unique animal. It lives in the humid jungles of the Amazon basin, where conditions are among the most favorable for life. Consequently, the competition is fierce. To survive in these conditions, the jaguar has developed genuine superpowers. All panthers know how to swim and sometimes do it for fun, to cool off on a hot day, but the jaguar swims better than most and can even hunt fish underwater. Although it is almost half the size of a lion, the biting power of the jaguar is several times greater than that of the largest cat in Africa. Thanks to this, the spotted predator not only strangles its victims, but also brutally breaks their occipital bones, crushes their neck vertebrae, and pierces the armor of the most protected creatures in South America. Finally, the jaguar even has supervision. Many animals rely on camouflage for their safety. Well, the eyes of the jaguar can not only see perfectly in the dark and discern depth, distance, and details, but they also have the ability to see beyond camouflage. Thanks to this, a jaguar can detect almost invisible prey in the jungle. The combination of all these qualities has allowed the jaguar to dare to perform a true feat. This panther hunts the largest black caimans right in their territory, that is, in the water. To begin with, the jaguar examines and studies its enemy to know its size, even if it is covered by murky water. The reptile has not spotted its enemy, believing it is perfectly safe here in the open field. Moreover, the cat was lucky, as the caiman came out onto a small sand island. All that remains is to stealthily approach the striking distance, which is no problem for such an expert swimmer. Then, the jaguar emerges from the river and pounces on the reptile with such astonishing speed that it has no time not only to counterattack but also to hide in the water. Although it was half a step away, the jaguar pounces on the large reptile, striking it with its powerful muscular paws. With incredible strength, the panther holds its opponent and does not allow it to sink its toothy jaws into its paws or break free. And then the cat immediately suppresses the enemy's resistance and grabs the back of the reptile's head and neck with its jaws. This is almost the most armored part of the alligator's body, where powerful and strong scales protect the back of the head, the back, and the neck. But the jaguar's super strong bite breaks this defense. Moreover, the jaguar's grip is so strong that the reptile is practically paralyzed. The cat jumps into the water with the prey in its mouth and crosses the river swimming with no apparent effort. The caiman would love to twist and free itself from its enemy's grip, but it cannot. Once across the river, the jaguar reaches the opposite shore, where it kills the injured and exhausted reptile, and the spotted hunter itself, despite having overcome and then carried the reptile almost the same size as itself, shows no signs of fatigue. An almost impeccable artisanal work, don't you think? The felids prefer to set ambushes and stealthily approach their prey at the shortest possible distance for a quick and forceful attack. But sometimes it is impossible to find a hiding place for an ambush, simply because the surrounding area is a bare plain covered with pebbles and sand. In these conditions, the snow leopard sometimes finds itself. This panther lives in the mountains of Asia, and the predator perfectly adapts to these harsh but incredibly beautiful places. It has a muscular, compact, and elongated body, with relatively short and incredibly powerful legs that it keeps semi-flexed when moving along narrow ledges and cliffs to increase its stability. Its retractable claws allow it to grip the smallest cracks in the rocks and climb very steep surfaces. The tail is long and acts as a balancer, and on harsh nights, the snow leopard can also cover itself with it like a blanket. Of course, among the Rocky Mountains, there are usually many rocks, ledges, and other hiding places where the snow leopard becomes almost invisible thanks to its camouflage coloring and its ability to move with the smoothness and elegance typical of felines. But in this case, the leopard had to resort to hunting in the open. It spotted a mountain ungulate that is also well adapted to living at high altitudes. The herbivore can hide very quickly, so the leopard has to act decisively and take risks. To begin with, it carefully plans its attack route and stealthily approaches its prey from above. Why? Because at the crucial moment, the snow leopard pounces directly on its prey. Like other cats, this predator can reach high speeds, but only for a short period of time. To increase its chances of catching the fast herbivore, the leopard resorts to very risky tactics. It switches from running to long jumps and practically runs down a steep ledge covered with small stones in a controlled fall mode. Now, this drastically increases the speed and length of the jumps. Each jump is almost 2 or even 3 times the length of the predator's body. The slightest mistake can cost the panther its life, because losing balance for a fraction of a second means an inevitable and uncontrolled fall into the abyss. But the snow leopard acts impeccably and reaches its prey with a crushing blow. Thanks to the acceleration, the coordination of movements, and the fact that the predator puts all its weight into the attack, the force of the blow is undoubtedly as strong or stronger than the attack of a tiger or a lion. And this, despite the fact that the snow leopard is several times smaller than its distant relatives. However, with a single blow, it brings down the large herbivore, and both adversaries fall defeated. They slow down amid clouds of dust, sand, and pebbles, demonstrating all their climbing skills. Then they fall off a steep ledge and disappear behind a rock. But when the camera that captured this spectacular chase was able to get closer, it saw the outcome of the confrontation. The snow leopard not only survived the fall and landed without any injury, but also defeated the mountain herbivore. The impact against the rocks must have stunned the victim, and the snow leopard was able to finish it off in the typical panther way, by strangling it with the help of its powerful jaws. The leopard saw the crocodile resting on the shore, and, instead of hiding, headed straight towards the reptile. In general, leopards are considered masters of ambushes, but this young spotted predator was not going to risk competing with a young, yet quite dangerous reptile. As you can see, sometimes cautious panthers also enjoy thrills. The leopard attacked head-on, and the crocodile was simply surprised. Neither the powerful jaws nor the strong scales could save it from the sharp claws and the crushing force of the panther's attack, so the crocodile fled immediately. It seems funny, but in reality, the reptile did the right thing, because no one should mess with panthers. The most epic, impressive, and effective episodes are those in which leopards hunt from ambushes. Especially because sometimes the spotted cats find a place to attack in a truly amazing environment. Here, for example, a leopard found itself in a tree with dozens of wildebeests below. Each antelope is much larger than the spotted predator, and such a huge number of horned animals should have scared it. This would make the cat act cautiously and sit quietly. But not this clawed fighter, who without a shadow of fear leaps from the height of the second floor, right onto the head of one of the antelopes. The sudden impact causes panic in the herd, making the wildebeest scatter in different directions, and thanks to the jump from the height, the leopard has developed great speed and is able to increase the force of the strike by an order of magnitude, ensuring its victory over an opponent twice its size in just a few seconds. A young tiger settling in a new territory has to deal with many different issues. Where to set up a den, which places are good for ambushes, where there is access to clean water, and also who the competitors are and how to get rid of them. This young tiger has just left adolescence, but it will not ignore the threat of competition from Asian wild dogs. These predators are much inferior in strength and size, not only to the young tiger, but also to the wolf. However, the enormous number of their packs, their aggressive way of fighting, and their coordinated teamwork make their proximity very unpleasant for a single big cat. Although they pose no direct threat to the tiger, one does not want to compete with them for prey. Except that if these red dogs thought their numbers would keep them completely safe, they were wrong. This tiger is going to drive the pack out of its territory, and if it can, will snack on some of the competitors. The tiger stealthily approaches the alert and fast dogs at the closest distance and springs into action. The dogs have not accepted the challenge and scatter in different directions. While the tiger glances at the fleeing rivals, one of them keeps trying to approach from behind. Probably it wants to bite the tiger's tail to injure and drive away the enemy. But sneaking up on the tiger was a stupid idea. The enormous predator turns around at lightning speed and attacks the insolent one. Only the quick reflexes save the dog's life. The tiger drove the competitors out of its territory, and although all the pack members survived, they better not come back here. Now the striped cat has gained experience in a skirmish with them, and next time will simply kill each one of them. Which of the cases where panthers demonstrated their power impressed you the most? Perhaps one feline species interests you more than others. Share your impressions in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to be the first to see new stories about the coolest animals on our planet.